so these are the FOA Coilovers that I ordered for the YJ build. Now, I chose these mainly because of the price. You know, like the whole theme on this build is to kind of keep it a little bit more budget friendly. So these came in for the back two. They came in at about $850. Now, you compare that to Fox. Fox right now is about $1,250 with springs. And then Kings, you know, they're even more. So I'm really kind of interested to see how these are. I've been kind of keeping an eye on this company over the years to, you know, honestly make sure that they stick around. But I wanted to test them out for myself and see, you know, if they're worth it or not. You know, like I've heard some things about them that they're, you know, a little bit of a dated design, but that they are functional, and I'm just kind of curious to see for myself. So let's get them open and take a look. Okay, so it's laid out. Obviously, just one. We don't need both to kind of look at them and give a little bit of a first impression here. So we got a bag of misalignment spacers and some little machine screws, which is the first thing I noticed. They use clamping style adjuster rings. So your preload nut and your slider adjuster are both a clamping style. And I'm not a fan of those. It's not a deal breaker for me. It's just one of those things that I don't like them. I don't like machine screws, especially little tiny ones like that. I always have the luck with this kind of stuff where the threads strip out at the most inopportune time. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm not sure if the threads on these are the same as like Fox or King. I have an extra set of jam nuts from my my King coilovers on my other YJ. Maybe one day I might break these down and see if they fit, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not that worried about it. It's just something I wanted to point out that I'm just not a fan of that style. I like the jam nut style a lot more, but it's not like anything that's like too big of a deal. Now, speaking of the threads on these are very sharp. I was actually sharp enough that I was really kind of surprised by it. I could probably take some emery cloth and kind of polish them down a little bit, because it does not affect, you know, the movement of either of the rings at all. So the nuts move up and down it just fine. It's just they're just machined very rough and sharp. Which kind of leads me into the slider. This is a wear and tear item, and that's one of the reasons that it bothers me that they're a little sharp and kind of rough. You know, as this moves up and down, it's gonna wear into it a little bit quicker, I would assume. So I'm thinking I'll probably try to polish them down a little bit. Now the slider, you know, it's your typical poly slider. Now it's very lightweight feeling compared to the ones on my Kings that came with the King coilovers I have. The Kings were a little stubby one, but they felt way heavier than this. So I'm kind of surprised at how lightweight this is. But you know, they're a wear and tear item, like I said. So if they crack or wear out, I'll switch them out with probably an aftermarket company. I did the same thing with my Kings when those wore out. There's a bunch of aftermarket companies now that sell these that are like a lot stronger, and they wear a lot slower. So I'm not too worried about this. You know, I'll run it till it cracks or wears out, and then I'll probably upgrade. So that's not too big of a deal. Now, getting into the remote reservoir and the line, it's really well built. The hose that they did, it's well crimped. It's pretty typical hydraulic line. But I was really happy that it came with a 90. It's not a swiveling type, which is what they listed as an upgrade. But it didn't say whether it came with a straight or a 90 fitting. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised when it came as a 90. The ones on my Kings, when I ordered those, I didn't I wasn't paying attention, and they came as a straight fitting. I don't know if they still do that, but I ended up having to order a 90 to be able to mount the reservoirs on my other Jeep. So I was like pretty happy that these came as a 90. But getting into the next thing, so these rod ends, they're rebuildable just like Fox and Kings, these little Heim joints. But the upper feels pretty good. It feels pretty normal. But the bottom one, I don't know if you guys can hear that. It feels pretty loose. So I might get in contact with FOA and you know, let them know and see what they think and see if they'll send me a new one, and I'll swap it out. But that was just one other thing I noticed that I don't really like too much. That it feels a little loose, but I mean that's you know, that could happen with any shock. So I'm not really, you know, that's not to blame on FOA. You know, it is what it is. All the pieces look really nice. They're anodized really well. Now, getting into the springs, I actually went with the springs that FOA offers, and they're from Viper. I had a buddy run these years ago, and he didn't have any complaints about them except that they bowed. Now, all springs are going to have a little bit of bowing to them, but he said that his bowed a little bit more. And the only time it gave him any issues was when he was like really articulated. The spring would bow just enough that he would rub the tire. He said other than that, they rode great and they never bothered him. He was really happy with them. So I don't know if that's something that they've done any revisions to the spring and the way they manufacture them. If it still bows like that, I don't know. It's something I'm going to find out. But I just wanted to go with everything from the same company. FOA does something kind of cool with their springs. A lot of companies do it now, but what they do is they let you buy your springs and you do your setups. You get everything mocked up, and then if you find out that you need a heavier or lighter spring rate, that you send them back and they'll send you a new set for free. So it's like an exchange. It's only during setup. You can't like go use them or whatever, but and then try to send them back. But I thought that was really cool that they offer that now. So it was another reason I was like, I'll just go with these. They're a little bit cheaper than Eibach, not much. Eibach's about $100 a spring, whereas Viper is, I believe for this, the lower, I believe it was 80, and then the upper cost me, I think it was 60. So they're not like significantly cheaper, but there is a little bit of a savings there. So I'm going to be doing a video here soon. Once everything's done and the mounts and everything are on the Jeep and I'm able to put the weight on it, I'm going to do a video for you guys showing you guys how to actually get your weights and figure out your spring rates. So keep an eye out for that video. I'll be dropping that one soon. But other than that, I'm really happy with how these look. Obviously, looks aren't everything. You know, performance is the big key factor here. So what my plans are is I'm going to get all this done. I'm going to get it on the Jeep. Once the Jeep's done, I'm able to hit some trails. I'm going to get out and kind of put it through its paces. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you guys another review, telling you guys like how they perform and giving you guys my honest opinion. I'm not sponsored by FOA. I bought all this with my own money. Even if I was sponsored by them, it wouldn't change how I would review them. I'm not, you know, one for telling something's great and go buy it and then, you know, it's garbage. I don't like that. I don't promote anything I don't believe in. So if these things are garbage, and I'm going to come back and tell you guys they're garbage. If they're great, I'm going to tell you guys, hey, I would do it again, you know. But that's to be seen. So for now, I'm going to get this put back away, get the next video going where I'm going to start building the towers and getting all the brackets done so we can get these on the Jeep. Until then, guys, like, subscribe, comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. I would love to hear what you guys' opinion on how these things look. Put it down in the comments down below.